Yeah, and that's what we're here from North and we're back to a new Simpsons review, and we're back with a new episode on The Simpsons on season 3. And another good episode as well. A very serious crisis, another serious crisis of an episode, I can just say. But the episode starts with the family at the table eating breakfast, and Bart is actually drawing a birthday card, which Lisa sees, saying, "Happy there," or "Hey there, 10-year-old. I couldn't offer to get you a new drum. So how about a nice pair of bongos?" Get it? A new Get it? Go back to that picture. I couldn't afford to get you a new drum. So how about a nice pair of bongos? Get it? Get it? Of how funny that is? I know it's great, ain't it? It's very hilarious. Lisa says ew, but it's hilarious. Y'all would find it funny. So Bart is with Milhouse, and with his present pretty much, and everybody's talking about his birthday and stuff, and Milhouse opens his walkie-talkie, which he sees walkie-talkies pretty much. Krusty the Clown walkie-talkies, which Bart has one, and Milhouse holds one. And it actually turns out, well, first of all, he tells Bart to look out because there's a dog, and he said, "Ooh, a brown dog." Which everybody goes off the bus, and Otto has to say happy birthday and hope that Milhouse would have a great birthday, or had a great birthday party pretty much. And yeah, Bart was not invited. Which Mr. Burns is, of course, doing his old classic ways with Smithers of looking at his employers, and yeah, Smithers shows Mr. Burns his dog, which is Hercules, he says. And then they're talking about their weekends and pretty much with movies and stuff. And then we see Homer talking about with his friends about the movie that they saw. And Homer sticking his finger into donuts and trying to choose one. But some of the cream, the jelly, I guess, goes onto the temperature, the monitor pretty much, for the power plant. Otto comes to get some snacks, and he actually tells him and tells Bart that tells him that Bart is still in the truck, or in the bus, which the jelly is starting to overheat the system, and Homer is of course asleep. And Mr. Burns talks about of how women can't always seem to keep their clothes on and just be naked in movies and stuff with Mr. Smithers. And they get an alert of basically of who it is, what's going on in the section. And again, the old gag of Mr. Burns wondering, or who is that guy? And Smithers is telling him, "That's Homer Simpson, sir." Every time, I'm telling you, every time. It's like a gag. And going back to that thing of how he was saying with the, yeah, what Mr. Burns was talking about with the movie and stuff. And yeah, Homer finally wakes up and realizes it is his fault. And of course, more chaos unfolds, and there's a lockdown pretty much, and Otto tries to cheer up Bart pretty much. Margie and the kids are watching TV with a news program saying the first couple of minutes meltdown crisis, And Mr. Burns telling everybody everything is okay, that they don't have to panic. And yeah, it's not. And Margie is very concerned about Homer. Homer tries to find the manual, which he does find a manual, but it's very complicated. And he's saying that Mr. Burns says that he wishes he could have kissed his own butt for the last few minutes before everyone dies, because if that timer goes off, it's gonna kill everyone in Springfield. Pretty much, it's gonna kill everyone in Springfield, and that's why Mr. Burns has a hazmat suit on. And Smithers tells him if he could kiss it, and he's like, "What?" And Mo and them are just everybody's just watching it, and we just say, yeah, things are not going well pretty much. And Margie starts praying to pretty much just starts praying that everything will be good. Homer starts to trying to figure out what button it is to fix it, and he gets a flashback of him doing a jig or one of those Rubik's cubes, and his says it was all his fault or its fault. So he does meeny meeny mimey yo, and yeah, pretty much on the news it's showing of how much it's going to kill everybody, of how far it's going to kill everybody in Springfield if that timer goes off in the power plant. And everybody's taking cover before they all die. The timer is about to go off, and Homer's trying to figure it out, but he then figures it out. He presses a button, and everything is saved. Homer is a hero. Everybody starts cheering. And Mr. Burns says that Mr. Burns lies and says that it was a misunderstanding, even though Homer saved the day. And he wants to give Homer an Employee of the Month, which Bart gives some salt to Milhouse, which pours all over his chicken. And Milhouse tells Bart that he can't be friends with him anymore because Milhouse's mom says that Bart is a bad influence, a bad example for Milhouse. And of course, his friend Homer's friends start congratulating him, and Mr. Burns comes and gets Homer to the Employee of the Month, which he has rewarded a turkey, one of those, I'm not sure what to call them. And Mr. Burns is trying to give him a thumbs up, and he eventually does it. And puts his wall on the pretty much his face on the wall, and a phone call to a basketball player, pretty much. Then the Itchy and Scratchy Show, which they are doing some drinks, and yeah, it starts to melt, and yeah, it's acid, and he gets run over. And Margie actually says the reward and is congratulating Homer from what he did. And yeah, things are going downhill. And Lisa's happy that she has an idol, a hero in her home. And Homer is wondering why Bart is depressed, with Milhouse not being his friend. Lisa's just staring at her dad. Bart is just going through pictures of Milhouse and all the memories they had together, pretty much. And the walkie-talkie and Milhouse calling him, saying, "Please don't hate him." And he throws it in the walkie-talkie in the trash can. Homer comes and parks right next to Mr. Burns, which leaves a mark, a dent. And Smithers parks all the way, has to walk all the way to the power plant. And the guy starts kissing Homer, pretty much one of the owner things of the power plant, and tells Smithers to get out. And they're playing, I guess it's supposed to be Monopoly, and Margie tells Bart why hasn't he accepted Milhouse's apology yet, but Bart tells Margie that it's his mom's problem, that it's a bad influence, and she actually goes by to her house and has a talk, and Margie says that they're both too young for women, and all the different things that they do. So she has a talk. Lisa's trying to help her dad with the speech. And at first, Lisa's about to have a root beer, or about to have beer and Homer chocolate milk, but then switches it back. Moe is telling Homer what is going on, and they actually tell him to imagine people in their underwear. Yeah, imagine people in their underwear. The old imagine people in their underwear. And Bart actually gets a call from Milhouse with the walkie-talkie and says to come over. And he thanks Margie, which he also tells Maggie that the game has to be changed while she's sucking on a checker piece. And she says don't do anything dangerous. And pretty much he gets a BB gun, he cocks it, and he goes out. The speech is given, and Homer has to remember imagine people in their underwear. And yeah, he imagines people in their underwear. Even himself in his underwear. But an alert is going off in the power plant once again. Everybody's freaking out. So Homer is having to do what he did before. Mini, mini, mommy, oh. Everything's back to normal. And saying that he's a failure. And we see the news. And this guy basically, or this chief doing a Homer Simpson stunt with this guy coming in the bank. The guy then gets knocked off. And yeah, everybody keeps saying that they just pulled a Homer Simpson pretty much. Which, yeah, Homer Simpson is in the dictionary. And they all celebrate. The family celebrate. So yeah, that concludes this episode. A real great episode. A very serious crisis in both of these episodes. These pairings. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. I'd like one subscribe if you don't. Which one notifications turned on so you don't miss anything new. And let me know what y'all think. Catch you on the next one. Bye.